I would like to open up the very first town council of 2026 on this January 13th. Welcome, and thank you for being here. I'd like to begin with the Pledge of Allegiance, and I would like to invite my daughter Caitlin to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, moving on to item B, B1. We have a motion? Oh, wait, oh.
I'll make a motion to appoint an acting chair of the town council.
Second?
All in favor?
Say my name.
Oh, yes.
Say my name.
Who's the acting chair?
All right, we're getting
That,
warmed up.
that Patty Boyd Williams be appointed to fill the vacancy as an alternate to the town. Oh, oops. That Patty Boyd Williams as acting town council chair.
That's the motion. We have a first, we have a second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained? Passes unanimously. Thank you,
Congratulations.
Chair.
Thank you.
All right, Patty's taking over the motions now. We're good.
Yeah,
All right.
there we
yeah.
go.
Now we can all find out how, where, it's much easier to be on the other side. All right, item B2. Make a motion that the attached rules of procedure be adopted for the term of this town council effective January 13th, 2026.
Second?
Are there any comments on the changes to the rules of procedure? No comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Passes unanimously. Thank you very much.
So we are, the next item is we don't have any resignation.
Okay.
No. Let's get organized here for a second, Brian.
That's okay.
Two of us. All right. So why don't we start here?
Go back to the beginning.
Yeah,
All right.
until we get our hard copy squared
Gotcha.
away. All right, so
Thank
we're
you.
on C right there. Yep.
Any presentations and recognitions? There are none. So we'll move on to public hearing, item D.
No public
No
hearings.
public hearings today?
No public hearings.
Public hearings, okay. Any new items?
Yes, I make a motion to amend the agenda to add item L43, the appointment of a town plan and zoning commission alternate.
Second?
Any comments? All in favor?
Sorry, 1 second. Who's she taking over for? I'm sorry. That's the only question I had. She's
So Josh Davidson is going to be moving up
Josh
To a full
Davidson's
member?
moving
to
up.
full member
Gotcha.
to do Matt Bandel's vacancy for the next 2 years, and now she'll be appointed to the alternate.
Makes sense.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Passes unanimously. Thank you very much. And now, F, public comment. If there's anyone here that would like to make a public comment, please step up to the microphone, give us your name and your address, and you have 5 minutes.
Joanne White, 19 Wells Drive. Good evening. I wanted to appear and speak again to reiterate our need for a comprehensive road reconstruction project in Wells Acres. When I spoke in October, I explained what had happened to our roads in 2018 and explained in detail how the infrastructure of our roads was severely compromised by not providing the proper materials under the asphalt. I also explained that other neighborhoods are getting fully reconstructed roads, but not Wells Acres. Shortly after my appearance and delivery of our petition from 56 neighbors, I received an email on October 23rd from Joe Capodeferro specifying that documents were being collected for the council and that the issue would appear on the November agenda. After the election, I noticed that the issue was not on the agenda, and I contacted him by email again to inquire about this. At that time, November 9th, he explained that because of the election changes in the town council, he tabled the issue until the new members were seated. On January 5th, I emailed Mr. Connolly to make sure our road issues were on the agenda. Not only did I not get a response from him, I was passed off to Ms. Blonsky, who sent me an email on January 7th that basically said the same thing she said in her letter to me on May 30th of last year, that our roads would be patched as needed and that a review of the need for driveway aprons and water drainage would be conducted. Basically, no new information was supplied, and obviously no review has yet to be completed since May 30th. The town could install patching and driveway aprons, but that will not address the underlying infrastructure issues of our roads. It's analogous to putting lipstick on a pig. The problem is that only 1/2 inch of asphalt was laid down on top of bare dirt and existing pavement with no grinding. The underlying areas are shifting and settling, causing cracking and sinkholes at the juncture. In addition, there is no grading done, so our roads do not crown properly. Water does not flow downhill, but pools instead. That water freezes in the winter, causing hazards and further cracking of the asphalt. There is no compacted gravel laid down before the 1/2 inch overlay. Lastly, 1/2 inch of asphalt is not enough to sustain delivery trucks, oil trucks, construction vehicles, and plows for 7 years without breaking apart. Last September, I approached the Democratic Town Committee and asked for assistance on this matter. I was directed to Mr. Ludkowski and Mr. Polsky. I sent them the correspondence that I had received to date, as well as my concerns. On September 29th, I received an email reply from Mr. Polsky that stated both he and Mr. Ludkowski read the correspondence and took a drive on the road in Wells Acres. I quote from the email, "Based on what we've read and observed, you did not get the same level of road repair and repaving that other streets in Farmington have received. The letters from the town do not provide a clear explanation of the reasons why those decisions were made and why the change from temporary to permanent status of the overlay was decided." On November 5th, I sent an email to Mr. Ludkowski, Mr. Polsky, and Mr. Connolly congratulating them on their win to the town council. Mr. Polsky sent me an email later that day assuring me that they would not forget us and will bring up the Wells Drive situation and what can be done to make things better. To be perfectly blunt, we are not interested in the town patching our roadways. We want what was promised to us in 2018, a complete reconstruction of our roads. At this time, I will be putting in a request for an assessment appeal and a reduction in our property taxes. The basis will be a lack of proper infrastructure of our roads provided by the town and subsequent lack of curb appeal, which lowers the value of our property. Also, in the next few weeks, I will be getting as many residents from our neighbors as possible to submit their own assessment appeal and request for reduction in property taxes. Lastly, I will be investigating a possible court action based on the September 2018 letter from the town stating we would be getting a full reconstruction of our roads in 2020. In the meantime, I will continue to document the condition of our roads and the other roads in the town that are getting full reconstruction projects. I will leave you with a few new photos of our roads. The top 3 show the same location. There's a original hole, the hole which was patched in June and then underwater after a rainstorm, and the patch now after numerous freezes and melts of the rain. Obviously, patching will not help the issues we face with our roads. We deserve to get the same treatment as other residents of this town.
Thank you, Joanne.
Yeah, I just, Brian asked me to have Russ Arnold, Director of Public Works, in the audience. He will be able to speak during my town manager's report on the issue.
Thank you. Are there any other comments? Thank you.
Tim Kelly, 62 Westview. First of all, Happy New Year and welcome to the new council. I think most of you ran on some version of good schools and low taxes, which is great. Although the fact is, we had a strong school system before. I'm sure we'll have fine schools during your tenure, and I'm confident we'll have very good schools after you're gone. Besides, you have a board and 800 employees to focus on that. The real challenge for you all as our fiduciary stewards is low taxes. So we used to brag about having excellent schools and the lowest mill rate in the region, and that, of course, is not the case anymore based on recent years of tax increases and budget increases. I'm sure in short time frame, departments will be petitioning you for new budgets going forward. Often when pressed, the reason comes up as inflation. I would just quote that the latest CPI inflation rate report today was 2.7%, and the forward outlook is 2.5% for the coming fiscal year. So these are the benchmarks to be thinking about, and I would encourage you to circulate those across the organization in the next few weeks. Thank you.
Thank you, Tim. Are there any other comments for public comment in the room? Kat, do we have anybody online who'd like to make a comment?
I do not see any hands raised online.
Going once?
Oh, we got one.
All right.
All right, we have Barry.
Barry, please state your full name and your address, and we look forward to hearing from you.
Can you hear me?
We can.
My name is Barry Aguado. I live at 36 Westview Terrace in Unionville, obviously. And my question is I've been living here since 2022. We moved from Long Island, and we love it here. But the thing I noticed is that when we first moved here, our taxes were $6,400. It's now $8,000. It went up $1,500, over $1,500 in 3 years. And if it keeps going this way, in 7 years, I'm going to be paying $20,000 in taxes. And I'm worried about that. And I'm sure every homeowner is as well. That's the whole point. So I don't need to and thank you for letting me speak.
Oh, absolutely, Barry. Thank you for sharing your thoughts and comments. Appreciate it. Anyone
I
else?
don't see any other hands.
All right. Then I guess we can close public comment. And let's move on to G, the reading of the minutes. Has everybody had an opportunity to read the minutes from our last meeting? And are there any comments? Oh. Do we?
Like to make a motion to approve the minutes of the December 9th, 2025 regular town council meeting.
Second.
Any comments? Anyone approve?
Aye.
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 Any opposed? Unanimously. All right. Do we have any written comments or written appeals?
No.
Okay, thank you very much. There are no reports of the committees this evening, so we'll move on to I. Report of the council chair and liaison. So it's my privilege to give my first town council chair report. I'm pleased to report that this town council is well prepared to carry out its work on behalf of Farmington. We have met collectively to get to know one another, and I have also had the opportunity to meet individually with each councilor to discuss their strengths, interests, and goals. It's clear that we share many common priorities and concerns on which we can build. This is a well-qualified council with diverse skills and experience that will serve the town well. What we all have in common is a long history of public service in Farmington and a genuine commitment to the town's best interests. I look forward to working with each member of this council. I would also like to thank our town manager, Kathy Blonsky, for her strong support of the council and for her continued leadership in making Farmington the well-run town that it is. Kathy and her team are efficient, responsive, and supportive of the council, of residents, and of the needs of the town. I'm equally grateful for our state representatives and for the strong relationship we share with them. Their support at the state level is instrumental in helping us achieve our goals while keeping taxes low. Work is already underway on the town's strategic plan, and we will continue these discussions in the coming weeks. Preparation has also begun on the upcoming town budget. We will be meeting with each department to better understand their work and to discuss the resources needed to meet their goals. Next month, we will meet with our state representatives to learn more about current issues at the state level and to engage them in supporting Farmington's priorities. They have been tremendously supportive, and I am grateful for their continued partnership. Finally, I would like to thank the many residents who have taken the time over the past few months to share their interests and concerns with me. I truly appreciate your engagement and your input. I remain committed to staying accessible, listening to your concerns, and keeping you informed, and I look forward to the future with you. Thank you very much. Let's see. Report of chairs. Okay. Report of the town manager.
You have the written report in front of you. A couple of items to note. We have the 2026 Town Council budget schedule that's attached, so mark your schedule for that. The second item is that typically we have the state legislators come to the first February meeting, just talk about upcoming budget things, gives the council an opportunity to talk to them. They come first thing. I would just look for some consensus that the council would like them all to come again in February. Yes, okay, great. We're going to hit the ground running with the strategic plan. So the existing 2024-2026 strategic plan was attached into the agenda. Brian and I are going to be meeting tomorrow to get the agenda out for the next week. So anyone that has any items that they'd like to include in the strategic plan between now and the agenda, that would be helpful for me, but it's not a requirement. Typically what we do is have more of a workshop meeting. I'd go through the strategic plan. I'd go through where the items are, that are still on the existing plan. Some of them are complete. Some of them roll every year or every 2 years. Typically, if the council would like, I would come up with some different goals that I see that, with some different things. I include them into the strategic plan. And lastly, what we have done is that we do a chart, and we do it red, green, and yellow, trying to look at all the different things. We do like staff time, complexity of the issue, money, how much it's going to cost. And so when the council looks at everything, they can kind of see like how much is something going to cost, how complex is it, how much council time it takes, how much staff time it does, so that when you guys collectively look at everything with the staff, we are setting us up for success, that we're going to be able to accomplish all the goals and have the money to do it. So that's typically what we do. So it would be at the next Tuesday night, we'd start with the strategic plan, we'd go through it, get your input, talk about it. Then hopefully, if we're pretty close, at the next meeting, which would be 2 weeks later, I try to put a draft together for you all. We'd also have Joe Swetke come in, do a kind of financial forecast for us, have some discussion about that, and hopefully at that time, we'd approve the strategic plan. If we don't, we'd continue moving on to different agendas with it, but that would be the goal for that. The one thing that I was wondering if the council would be interested in, I thought at the next meeting, if one of the things, and the governor had just or the lieutenant governor had just mentioned it, is the 250th celebration. The prior council had talked about that. We kind of have a consensus of our plan of what we'd like to do. I'd like to put that, a motion to create the committee, as just a first reading for you all at the next meeting. I'll talk about it with Brian tomorrow. We haven't gone through it, but then the thought would be is that at the last January meeting, we'd get squared away with that. And I think that we'll at least have one council person on it. And what my thought was is that at least next week, if we know who that council person was, they could at least meet with Jesse, our recreation person. We're a joint kind of committee with the town of Avon. They're already kind of up and running. And so we could do that. And then by the end of January, get the 250th committee, our part of it too. And so we can move on that because our deadline is, I think our event is in, if I'm correct, it's in July, if I remember correctly. So if that was okay, consensus that we have that on the agenda next week too.
Yeah, I think it's important.
All right, so that's that. Also on the 27th, please come at 6:30 for our photo shoot. If you can see in the back of the wall, we have a town council photo shoot. So 6:30, please come and we will get our picture taken. And then I don't have to go through, you can read it, just kind of talking about what is upcoming. It's not all inclusive of meetings for upcoming meetings. We did have, Brian and I talked about a February 3rd meeting, about if there was an interest for the council to meet some of my staff people, my direct reports. I'm thinking, 5 or 10 minutes per person, kind of just an overview of things. We're going to be seeing the budget very soon afterwards. I think that there is a Green Efforts meeting the same night, but when it comes up, if there's an interest, if they wanted to change the time to try to do both of those things, you had mentioned that to me, so that will be coming up. And last item before I call on Mr. Arnold is the FOI training. So I think we sent a flyer to everyone. A flyer went to all our boards and commissions, their liaisons, is that there will be a training of Freedom of Information Act. Russell Blair will provide a presentation followed by Q&A. The training workshop is voluntary. However, we're encouraging all our public officials. It's also going to be on Zoom. He did mention, again, if it's severe weather, we're going to have to reschedule, but it will be a Zoom meeting, and it is on, what day do I have it? January 22nd, 6 p.m., live in the council chambers, but it's also available by Zoom. And it's not going to be a council meeting, it's just a workshop meeting. So that's going on. I don't know if anyone has any questions about what the written report is. And if you do, I'd be more than happy to answer it. And then after that, we'll have Russ come up and he'll talk a little bit about Wells Drive for us.
Awesome, thank you. Do we have any questions?
Just a general question, Kathy. I noticed you handed out some paper copies of the package. Is that something I can ask for?
Yes.
Okay, I wasn't aware of that. Okay, cool.
Yep.
Thank you.
Yep.
Just in the future.
Yep. No problem.
Any other questions? Do I have a motion to?
And then-
sorry.
And then,
Oh, that's right.
And Russ Arnold is our Director of Public Works. Most of you do know him, but I'll have him come up and just speak about Wells Drive a little bit for us. And I did send the council some information, so I know that you've gotten that.
Good evening.
Good evening, Russ.
Hey, Russ.
How's everybody?
Great, good, thanks.
How are you?
Where would you like me to start? Apparently everyone has opinions on it already, so I guess you want to hear what I have to say, or?
Yes.
Please.
That's why you're here.
So in 2017, 16 or 17, we did our sanitary sewer study, and we videotape all our lines, and we do it in a process. We go from neighborhood to neighborhood and figure out any infiltration and inflow issues that we have. Inflow and infiltration is groundwater that gets into the sanitary sewer, which increases the flow rates at the treatment plant. We try to reduce that because the clean water is very costly. So that's what this project started out. There was a lot of infiltration in the sanitary sewer. It's a deep sewer. It's 14, 15 feet deep, sand, water. We have videos that show the water looks like a broken water main. From the pipe looks like a broken water main. There's that much infiltration. Given those conditions, we sent a letter out, talked through the WPCA. We put a project together for replacement. Sent a letter to the residents that's based on that. We anticipated a full. We didn't say. If you want me to read the letter verbatim, I can get it. But we anticipated a full reconstruction based on the depth of the sewer. Contractor was able to keep his trench tight, didn't lose a lot of the road. They went down basically the middle of the road. We were able to patch the road, patch the trench, and put on an overlay. For the majority of our overlay program, we do about 80 to 85% of our paving program. It's an overlay. It's a mill. It's an overlay. We put for better term, glue down, and we pave over it. We mill if we need to, smooth it out, and repave everything. We've been doing that practice for 21 years. We've been very successful with it. There are some roads that we do a full reconstruction. There are some roads really are blown apart, and we have to do that, or we would reclaim the whole blacktop with the base, regrade it, pave it. Very rarely do we replace the drainage systems unless something's wrong or we need to increase the size of a pipe, just because it's a money saving. Concrete pipe usually doesn't rot. If there's a metal pipe, we had a lot of old corrugated metal in town. We got rid of that, replaced it with plastic, which is a cheaper product. All in the effort to save money. We do, what do you think, Joe, about $1.5 million a year for road paving based on the bond that we get. We are very productive with our paving. We do a lot of repair work in-house with our own crews.
When it really comes down to it, though, I mean, just to simplify some of this, because you and I have talked about it, and it's somewhat complicated, and is that the thought it was a sewer project, and when we have sewer projects, we like to do the roads. Anytime a utility project goes,
water,
whatever the roads are, the neighborhoods typically get bumped on the list because you don't want to tear up a road and then, do a utility and then pave the road again and then tear it up again. So this neighborhood, to be fair, was bumped in the scheme of things because, one, we were doing a sewer project. So they wound up doing a very extensive sewer project. And again, lesson potentially learned on our end is that, again, most people in general do not know the difference between a road reconstruction project and a paving of your road. And typically 85% of the town, we just pave over the road. That's what I always think of it as. We've paved the road. We thought there was going to be a road reconstruction project.
As a result of the sewer project.
As a result of the sewer project. And again, there was never going to be curbs. That was never part of the project. Even if it was going to be a reconstruction project, we were never putting curbs there. And again, it was said that we were going to do a road reconstruction. When it was done, they determined that a road reconstruction project was not warranted. Now, again, I feel for the neighbors and the understanding that we wrote that, but we're not going to do a road reconstruction project that you don't need to do. And if the road was paved 8 years ago, approximately, it was paved. And again, like 85% of our roads, that's what happens. The roads get paved. They crack. They have different things. And we would, like I have said, that we are more than willing, like we are for anyone, to go if there's big potholes and things like that. I've driven it. I've asked the council to drive it. Again, we only have a certain amount of money for road reconstruction projects, and it's not enough, and it's we try our best, and we've done a great job, and we've been moving quite along. And we can't, in my opinion, we can't go back after 8 years and do a project over again. And again, something that we'll learn when we write these letters, if we're ever not sure if we're going to do a reconstruction or not, we should probably put something in a letter that says if it's needed or something along those lines.
As required,
whatever that is. Because again, I get it. I understand that. But again, as the manager, as Russ, we're not going to reconstruct a road that we don't feel that needs to be reconstructed. And one of the other things that Russ and I talked about quite a bit is that, again, in good that the road was not destroyed, that we had to do a reconstruction project, but he remembers very much so, is that it was a very, very extensive sewer project, and it took a long time, and neighbors were bothered because it was very inconvenient for people to get in and get out and things like that. And again, we were never going to do the reconstruction But even if we considered it, people, again, it would have been another 2 years. And again, my point is that at that point, at least to our knowledge, people couldn't wait for us to pave the road and get out of there. It was just a really long, difficult sewer project.
Correct. And
Sewer project.
so the project started in April, end of April. It didn't get done until November. The contractor worked 5 to 6 days a week, 8 to 10-hour days. People were, had to park down the street to get by so they couldn't drive by where they were putting the pipe in. From a safety standpoint, we were getting calls constantly. The last thing I wanted to do, first of all, I'm not here to dupe anybody. I'm not here to play games with words. I'm not here to try and be not transparent, which is a good buzzword that everyone loves to use and throw out there. I've been doing this for a long time. I'm proud of our paving program. And it's difficult to me when I hear, oh yeah, you didn't get what you were supposed to get. If there's a problem, call me, I'm available, right? It's just tiring after all these years to be questioned on what we do. And you can question it, and I got no problem explaining it. But here I feel like I wasn't even given an opportunity to explain, and the sentence was already cast. So it is what it is. So 1 second.
I want to question you.
Yeah, no, you can. But my point is, at that time, we put down, we anticipated a road reconstruction project. After going through it and getting through, we wanted the contractor out of there. Is it something I would do again today? Absolutely. I would do the same job again today, given the same conditions. We do that on 85% of our roads. There are roads that we got to reconstruct. We're coming into budget. You're going to say, how much money do you need? We'll give you more money for paving. You got to do more roads. You can give me $20 million a year. I can't do it. Every town is doing the same thing at the same time with the same contractors. We can only do what we can do. And we do quite a bit more than other towns because we do our own work in-house and get done ahead of time. My point to you all is, I'm not here to lie to anybody. I'm not here to try and cheat somebody. These are my taxes too. I don't like wasting money. That's not what I like to do. I get very upset when I find something went wrong, when we could have corrected it. This I would do again tomorrow, and we could have the same conversation. We can talk about verbiage, how thick the pavement is, fine. But I'd still make the same decision again. So it's not like, geez, I shouldn't have done that. But when you're living it, and those people are very upset that they got to go live it and eat it and breathe it every day, you're doing whatever you can to get out of there, to get them back to where they need to be. And I'm not,
Yeah.
I just wanted to say that because you know what? I want everyone to know where I come from. But these are my money. This is my dollar too. I vote on it. So go ahead. You're next, Mr. Goodwin.
Thank you, Mr. Arnold. So there are towns that are on the paving project. So I have a couple questions. I'm going to pepper you. There are roads on the paving project list that are set to come up that are in worse condition than Wells Road. True or false?
True.
Okay. Wells Road, I forget, the woman who spoke tonight, she wants curbing, correct?
In her letter, she requested curbing.
And we know that there's residents on that road that do not want curbing, correct? Because of the way
I have
it's
spoken with a couple of them, but I can't tell you. I'm not going to sit here and say they're half and half. But
Yeah,
there were
yeah,
some. Yeah.
I got you. I personally drove that road as well, and just being a resident, I see what she's talking. There's a couple of areas where some water's up. So I've driven that road 3 times. I did it in the morning and the night, and then when it was that like ice storm like 2.5 weeks ago, because I just wanted to see what it was like.
Mhm.
And so there's a couple of areas that settle, but it does not. It just, to my eye, it doesn't look dramatically different than what it is. So to Kathy's point, I think it would be a real bad precedent to say, because of verbiage in a letter, we're going to give you this thing that is not needed, and then put you ahead of other people that have already been promised paving because of our list, which is a well thought out list of like who gets what when. So bump them ahead based on verbiage when they have a road that, to my eye and to our town expert's eye, is in good condition. And honestly, the whole thing happened because it sounds like our contractor did a better job than we thought they were going to do, right? You said they kept their lines tighter.
Construction-wise, yes.
Yeah.
It took a long time, but we got through that.
Yeah.
You did a good job.
And so, I understand how passionate people are because when people live in it, they feel like they were promised something and didn't get it. But we have to balance it on the needs of everyone, and I think that's why your job is so tough.
Thank you.
I think I would like to speak because Ms. White quoted me particularly from her email. May I? Just a bit.
You calling people
Yeah.
Brian.
Okay, do we have, I was going to go down the line. Do you have any comments, Bill?
I would say I'm new to this situation. I did drive it I just found out about it actually right before I was, right after I was elected, and I only had one chance to drive down the road. I'm familiar with the road. And to Keith's point, I've seen it in the past with some puddling, but it didn't dramatically jump out at me. And again, I'm still learning about tonight was the first time I heard about the substance of the complaint. But I do know you from my time on the Planning and Zoning Commission a million years ago. We both had more hair, darker hair, and I know you to be a straight shooter, Russ. So I know that. So I would just simply say a lot of what Keith said, I kind of agree with. We have to make priorities, and I'm still learning about this issue, and I'm sure there'll be more to come on it. But I want to make sure you understood what I thought about your service to the town and the work that you and your team do. So
Thank you.
Patty, any comments?
Reiterate, Bruce, I respect your opinion, or Bruce, Bill, I respect your opinion, your judgment. I mean, I was someone 2 years ago when you guys had to redo West District Road, and I had to drive over that all the time. So I appreciate wanting to get it done quickly because
Absolutely.
that was very challenging.
And just, if I can interrupt
Yes.
you, so West District Road,
Yes.
we did a partial reconstruction and a partial overlay. So over by the school in that area, we had to do some drainage because some of the corrugated metal failed.
Right.
So we had to reconstruct the road. In that section by Bella, coming down halfway down the hill, we reconstructed that section. The rest was a mill and overlay.
That does segue into the one question I wanted to ask, just for my own knowledge. Outside of when it's a sewer project or underground utility, whatnot, are there criteria you look at for determining like that 15% that needs to be reconstructed versus repaved?
It's very simple. I don't want to over exaggerate it or make anyone think it's some real technical engineering science. There are a lot of times you can drive a road and tell like how it rides, the bumps, the potholes, the amount of patching that was done in it. That you need the bases shot. You're up and down. You're all over the place. Highwood Road is an example. We've been patching that for years. That is due. A portion of it is due for a full reconstruction. There are multiple roads that, when you see it, you know it, right? Like, I can just drive Highwood Road, and that's a close. During the day, and you'll see as you go up halfway up, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. The lower half needs to be reconstructed. The upper half was overlaid about 20 years ago, and we're going to stop and we'll do a mill and overlay and a full reconstruction.
And Russ,
You can
the
tell.
drainage too, right?
And drainage.
Drainage.
But again,
Yeah.
as I said, a lot of this is concrete pipe, so the concrete doesn't rot for the most part. Sometimes it does. If it's a sanitary sewer, the hydrogen sulfide, we'll get into a whole nother issue. But in typical storm drainage, it doesn't rot. It may crack and have to replace it then, but we typically don't replace drainage. We do the catch basin. If we rebuild the catch basin, we rebuild the catch basin from the sump up, put a new top on it, and go. But we aren't technically, theoretically, we're not replacing the drainage runs themselves. Because we would reduce our paving budget. We could restrict it because it's taking away money out of the bonding.
Thank you. Is the catch basin replacement, is that typical?
Typical.
Okay.
Yeah, worst case we do is a full rebuild from the sump, and they could be anywhere from 4 feet to 12 feet, 14 feet deep, all the way up. A lot of them are old block. The block rots out, but typically we'll replace the top with 2 or 3 courses and be done with it, or precast. That's the standard with our overlay with our paving program.
Thanks, Russ. I
Yep.
appreciate it.
Dave, any questions?
Yeah, I have a couple questions, but I would also comment that, I'm not here to be your Monday morning quarterback. I certainly appreciate
that.
your explanation. And so I want to take a couple steps back, right? When we get a letter in September in the middle of a campaign, we definitely, these people are in the first district, and they definitely have a right for them to contact their district representatives,
100%.
which you agree with, and we go out and take a look at that, right? Her data at that point was that this was supposed to be a reconstructed project, right? So I think what the prudent thing to do, which I think we did, was that we waited for the election to pass. And that's kind of what we told her. We're in the middle of this thing. There's, the paving season's upon us right now. It's at the tail end. This thing's not going to be solved in 2025.
Correct.
And I mean, but let's see some of the things as we get into 2026 that we can figure out with her and see where we can map out a path of whatever that path is. And the first step of that path is to get the information that you are here tonight providing us. So it sounds like, so there's a couple things. One, this was a sewer project. Totally understand that the sewer system was taking in too much groundwater, and then you needed to address that, which you did with this contractor. So I'm assuming that this contractor was able to come up with a solution or a working method that he didn't need to tear up the whole road. He could stay tight over the sewer and kind of do the work.
Yes, that was all part
Okay,
of it.
right.
Yeah.
And would you say that because he did that, it took a longer time, a longer duration to do this work?
Correct.
Okay, so that already has kind of set the parameters a little bit on how this project unfolded, right? Which basically got basically the project to a point where it went deeper into the season
Correct.
than you normally anticipated, right?
Yes.
So obviously there's a collection of things that are occurring that obviously have somewhat impacted at the end of the day, maybe the finished product to some degree, just timing wise, weather wise, you followed the same procedures, and it's procedures that as a talented town engineer, you've done many times before. I just think that this project maybe got a little bit, with the ambition of taking that and then with that, it sounds like to me that there wasn't necessarily, was there a time you revisited the reconstruction aspect with anybody in the neighborhood? Like that you were now feeling that it was advantageous that you weren't going to need to reconstruct the road?
Not one discussion.
Okay. Which is probably, again, a lesson learned that when somebody gets a letter and they're not as technically in depth as you are, or maybe somebody else who's in the field, that we need to recommunicate somehow to these people that there's been kind of a scope change to some degree. You weren't aware of whether that could be done or not in the beginning. Totally understand that.
Yeah.
But that I do think that's a lesson learned.
I think, Dave, absolutely, that, again, a couple of things. The word reconstruction, make sure if we're not doing it, because again, I get it. You say it, it's hard to backpedal. The other thing, though, is exactly right, is that, to be honest, though, at that point of time, everyone wasn't really thinking about that we wrote that it was reconstruction. Everyone was concerned about, when are you getting the heck out of there?
Right.
And that's like what we were basically, but your point is well taken, is that when you wrote something that said that, but if we could do it over again, obviously we'd be like, here's a letter, here's our timing, and just to let you know, we don't have to reconstruct the road, we're just
Right.
repaving
Right.
it, that type of thing.
Right, but in the same token, I don't do that now. If I'm paving your road, if I'm paving Mountain Road, you'll get a letter from us that says, hey, we're paving, we're going to be repaving Mountain Road. I'm not typically telling you how we're doing it or what our methodology is.
Right.
And nor do 99% of the time people don't care. Yeah. Get it paved, make it black, and make it smooth.
Yeah.
And then we complain about the speeding.
Right.
That's the process.
Yeah.
Right?
But
I hear what you're saying.
Right,
And
because-
I'm not arguing
Right.
what you're saying. I don't want you to take it that way.
No.
But to go back, yes, lesson learned. Do I put and or possibly? I don't want to. To me, I'm a black and white person.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Here's what we're doing. Here's what we're trying to do. And as I predicated this whole thing, I'm not trying to dupe anybody. I'm not trying to lie to anybody.
No, and I'm not, and I don't want you to take that I'm saying that.
I'm not saying you did, but I'm
Right.
just putting it out there.
Right.
But my point is, it's a construction process, right? And things happen, as you know, in the business. Things happen. Change orders come up. Things happen. You unanticipated. I'm digging 14 feet in the ground.
Right.
I don't know what I'm going to find.
Right.
I found it they put the sanitary sewer through rock,
Mm-hmm.
and they made a tunnel through the ledge.
Right.
It's not any notes anywhere. There's no pictures of it from 1965 where the pipe getting tunneled through ledge. So there was extra time. Things happen. And as Kathy said, at that point in time, people are like, get out of here.
Mm-hmm.
We don't want this. Like, you're done, right? And I wasn't in that point in time like, hey, we can do this. This is fine. Everything's good. We can overlay, patch and overlay and get out and we're done. We're out of here by Thanksgiving.
Mm-hmm.
And that was it. You know, that's the end of story. There wasn't any like, hey, I'm going to lay awake at night and say, how do I misconstrue the letter I wrote?
Right.
Or Matt wrote or whatever, but it can't, you know, I take responsibility for it. So I just want you all to be aware that
Mm-hmm.
we put it out there like worst case scenario, you could be looking at, you know, we're going to do reconstruction based on what's happened.
Right.
What we anticipate.
Right.
Nadine, do you have any?
But I just want to add one. So I totally don't disagree with the fact that how you manage a complicated sewer project in a neighborhood, and at the end of the day, we're in a position not to do a full reconstruction.
Right.
And I'm not going to get stuck on the reconstruction aspect, but I think the one thing I would say is I think not necessarily, however we need to do this. I think we just want to establish that if there is a change of a nature of like we just want to make sure that communication somehow gets tightened up to the point where there isn't a miscommunication. And you're right. I'm in the business, and it doesn't take a lot. I'm like, trust me, I'm in the business, and just like you've thought about a lot of things. We've all thought a lot about things, but it's just that extra step. You know what I mean? It's just that extra step. That's all.
And Dave, let me tell you, after this, and we've gone through,
Right.
I'll be
I'm not writing any letters.
Well, I'll be
Okay.
looking at the letters
That's fine.
because
Right.
you know, it's like I said, I feel very much for a resident that saw that, and let me tell you, when I saw it and it said the wrong thing, and it was not we didn't do the wrong thing, but the letter said that, and that's bothersome to anyone, and and so again, Russ looks at it at 1,000 feet as the engineer. My job is to look at it at 10,000 feet to make sure the communication and things of that nature. That's how we work.
Thank you. How about you, Nadine? Any questions?
No.
The only thing that I would just add, I value your expertise, Russ, and my only question is around the pictures that she shared today. As we're going into spring and it's still snowing, would there be some sort of options that we would offer? Obviously, without doing a reconstruction, I agree with the communication being clear, but just being not using the word.
Transparent.
But just being responsive
Right.
to the ask and working with the neighborhood to, support. There are issues that you can see here.
Clearly.
On a good day, it probably is perfectly fine, but just providing some options to.
I think that's what we communicated, that we would go out and we'll patch the pot, cut the pothole, patch it, and do it. It's not going to be a fly-by-night thing on a Route 4 where they just fill the holes and don't. We'll cut it and patch it. Just so we're clear, though, it's been 7+ years since we paved. Blacktop, concrete, it all expands and contracts. It's going to crack. Every road cracks. As things still settle, right? It happens. So can I sit here? And she's not lying. There's a couple places settled. We're going to patch it, but I'm not going to patch it in January, February, March, or April.
Right.
I'll do it in May, get a good hot patch and cut it and pave it, that type of thing. But I'm not going out. If I went out and did more than that, you all would be questioning me, going, what are you doing? Because now I'm not paving your road, right? Well, I was over here again, right? It's like, I got to look at the big picture. Kathy likes to say 1,000. I'm up around 15,000. But I appreciate it.
And is it a
jump, too.
What is the cycle for a new road? Is it a 20-year?
I would say closer to 30, but it really depends on how busy the road is and things like that. We try to get a good bang for our buck.
We have roads in town, Nadine, that haven't been paved since they were paved originally.
I think it might be like
And not being one of them.
I'll turn it over.
Brightwood Road.
Bruce, do you have any questions?
Original paved.
I do. I thank you, the rest of the council, for their comments, Dave and Nadine especially. I think you got most of it out there, but since she quoted me in particular, I do want to reiterate personally, I was not trying to impugn the decision or the work that
I appreciate
that was done. So wanted to say that the joint communication that Dave and I had sent to her, and I know she pulled some things out of context from that. So the point though that both Dave and Nadine had made though, because I did walk that entire street during the campaign season, they do have some issues settling. In the driveways where they meet the road, there are gaps and there's water pooling and freezing in January. Potential safety issues. We do need to get on that and do some paving. And I know her driveway in particular was done and patched and joined up to the road. But I think there's other residents who need that and a settling that's done. And I'm glad we're going to take a look at that in the spring.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And listen, we get complaints constantly, and I call them complaints. It's more like information. Hey, you've got a pothole here. Hey, you got this, you got that. And we address them as soon as we can. We usually, if there's a pothole complaint, within 24 hours, typically the next day, it's getting taken care of. Because otherwise we're responsible for any damages. So I have a reasonable amount of time to fix it. But once we get it, it's on the list and it gets fixed. So we really are on top of our game with that. I am confident to tell you that within 24 hours, any complaint for a pothole gets patched. And this certainly, just like any other road, will receive the same amount of attention that we would give it and give it our due diligence. We're not trying to hide from anything. We take care of it, and we'll go. And I've already had I drove it with our highway super a couple times, and he's talked with our foreman, and we have a plan together, and he's got a list of what we're going to get going and taking care of in the spring.
And we're going to look at the driveways and see.
That's part of it, yeah.
Exactly.
Thank you, Russ, for making this a part of your town manager's report, because I think it's important that we get a chance to discuss this. I mean, I know I really do appreciate all the work that you do for the town.
Thanks.
This particular issue, I know that we're going to do what we can, but we have so many other priorities as well as this one that I know you're addressing on a daily basis.
We'll take care of it. Thank you.
So I think
I make a motion. I'll make a motion to accept the report of the town manager.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Passes unanimously. Thank you very much for that discussion. We appreciate it. All right, let's move on to L, appointments.
It's
Hey, we'd like to make our first.
It's my understanding that for items L1 and L2, we are postponing those motions until the next opportunity to discuss. All right. L3, I make a motion that Pullman and Comley be appointed as bond counsel for the period January 2026 through January 2028.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Passes unanimously. Thank you very much.
Agenda item L4, that Metzger, Lazaruk, and Plum be appointed as Labor Council for the period January 2026 through January 2028.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Passes unanimously.
L5, I move that Updike, Kelly, and Spellacy, PC, be appointed as Land Use Environmental Council for the period January 2026 through January 2028.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Passes unanimously.
L6, I move that Joseph Swetke be appointed treasurer from January 2024 until January 2026, and that compensation for the treasurer be set at $5,000 annually.
Second.
Any discussion?
Oh, you're right. Yes.
We're going to start in 24?
Yes, thank you. I amend the motion.
Sorry, Mike.
Joseph Swetke be appointed treasurer from January 2026 until January 2028, and that compensation for the treasurer be set at $5,000 annually.
Second.
Any other discussion? Thank you for that, Joe. Approved?
Aye.
Aye.
In favor? Opposed? Passes unanimously. Thank you very much.
L7, I move that Julie Albert, Assistant to the Director I move that Julie Albert be appointed as Deputy Treasurer from January 2026 until January 2028.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Passes unanimously.
No, my agenda got messed up. Okay. L8, I move that the following banks and investment pools be designated as depositories for town funds. These banks are listed in the agenda unless I need to read them all.
As
No.
attached.
As
As
attached.
listed.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Passes unanimously.
Or read them all.
I think I read them
Okay.
just so you have it.
Thank you.
Yeah.
All right.
There's some mistakes in there.
Yes. L9.
At least what's in the,
It's
not
I
the
have-
printed agenda.
yeah, on the printed.
All right. I move that the following be appointed as members of or liaisons to, as applicable, the following entities or commissions. 1928 Building Committee, voting member Dave Litkowski. FHS Building Committee, voting member Bill Beckert. Board of Education Liaison, Bill Beckert. Liaison to Conservation and Inland Wetlands, Patty Boy Williams. Liaison to Economic Development Commission, Dave Litkowski. The Liaison for Town Planning and Zoning, Bruce Polsky. Voting member for the Ad Hoc Fire Station Committee, Dave Litkowski and Nadine Canto. Voting members of the Ad Hoc Sidewalk Committee, Brian Connolly and Keith Ribbert. The voting member and chair of the Bicycle Advisory Committee, Bruce Polsky. Liaison to the Farmington Historic District Commission, Nadine Canto. Liaison to the Human Relations Commission and voting member of the Racial Equity Task Force, Patty Boy Williams. Chair and voting member of Green Efforts Committee, Patty Boy Williams. Chair and Chair of Land Acquisition, Bruce Polsky. Voting member of Land Acquisition Committee, Nadine Canto. Library Board Liaison, Keith Ribbert. Unionville Historic District Commission Liaison, Bill Beckert. Unionville Village Improvement Association Liaison, Keith Ribbert. Water Pollution Control Authority Liaison, Nadine Canto. The CROG Policy Board, Brian Connolly. CROG Transportation Board, Russ Arnold. The Farmington Valley Health District, Nancy Parent. Stephen A. Fliss Scholarship Committee, Patty Boy Williams and Keith Ribbert. Town Retirement Board, Bruce Polsky. Is he the chair?
No, Dave Litkowski. What do you got?
Didn't we?
You were on.
Yeah, right there. Yeah.
That's in the counts. That was the who Dave was on it before. I thought it
We
was.
switched to Bruce, I thought. Did we?
I don't think so. Well,
Yes.
How do you want to do that?
Who's
Should I finish the motion, then we can make a motion to amend?
yeah.
Okay. And to the Housing Authority liaison, Keith? Is it a liaison?
Yeah, liaison.
position? Liaison, Keith Ribbert.
we kept the conversation yesterday.
So
Okay, that's fine.
I don't think so.
Second.
the only issue I saw in that is that housing and library both meet on the third Wednesday of the month.
Oh, they
So
do?
I can,
Okay.
I can only take one of those. So I'm happy to trade. Anybody wants to talk offline?
What days?
It's the third Wednesday at 7:00 is when both of them meet. I've done both. I'm happy to do either. I was on retirement for a good stretch, and then I came off to be on Housing Authority for the past year. I like both. I'm happy to do either. They're both great committees if somebody's looking for a sales pitch.
Housing Authority kind of overlaps with Human Relations, right?
It's Nancy Parent's realm, so yeah, it's not a bad.
Do you want to just accept as is, and then you guys?
Yeah, we'll figure it out.
to see
Yeah, I
how
think that's great. Yeah.
It is okay.
And they will adjust.
Yeah.
All in favor?
Any conversation? We've had the conversation. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Passes unanimously.
Oh, wait, I need that one, don't I?
Yep.
Okay. L12, I move that Mary Jane Parlow be appointed to the Farmington Valley Health District for a 3-year term beginning January 2nd, 2026, and ending December 31st, 2029.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Passes unanimously.
L13, I move that Kimberly Haydinger be appointed to the Green Efforts Committee beginning immediately for the remainder of an indefinite term.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Passes unanimously.
L17, I move that Kathleen Donnaroma be appointed to the Human Relations Commission for the balance of a 2-year term beginning immediately and ending on June 30th, 2027.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Unanimous.
L20, I move that Kyle Cunningham be appointed to the Retirement Board for a 2-year term beginning immediately and ending January 2028.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Passes unanimously.
L21, I move that Eric Giordano be appointed to the Retirement Board for a 2-year term beginning immediately and ending January 2028.
Second.
Any discussion?
These are all the town appointments, right?
Yes.
That's right. That's Patty. That's why we weren't sure. That's why we were.
Yeah, so-
The retirement board takes on a certain amount from each year.
Thank you.
I'm sorry, yeah, so these are, and they pick their own members.
Yeah.
And so that's it, that's why they're, that's who they are. Yep.
So,
Is that-
all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Passes unanimously.
This is 23 now. That was correct.
Yeah.
Okay. L23, that Mike Bernabucci be appointed to the Retirement Board for a 2-year term beginning immediately and ending January 2028.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Passes unanimously.
L2025, I move that Jeffrey Porter be appointed to the Retirement Board for a 2-year term beginning immediately and ending January 2028.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Passes unanimously.
L27, I move that Kyle McIntyre be appointed to the Retirement Board for a 2-year term beginning immediately and ending January 2028.
Second.
Any discussion?
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to recuse myself from the discussion and abstain from the vote as Mr. McIntyre is my son-in-law.
Thank you for letting us know. Thank you very much. Any other comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
That's an abstention.
Passes with,
An abstention.
sorry, Pat, any abstentions?
One abstention.
Thank you. Yes, passes with one abstention, 6 votes with one abstention. Thank you for that.
L29, I move that Josh Davidson be appointed as a full member of the Town Plan and Zoning Commission to fill a vacancy beginning immediately and ending on January 2028.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any abstentions? Opposed? Passes unanimously. Thank you.
L43, I move that Lisa Fagan be appointed to fill a vacancy as an alternate to the Town Plan and Zoning Commission beginning immediately and ending on January 2028.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Passes unanimously. Is there any old business to discuss?
No.
All right, let's move on to new business. N1.
I move to approve the following blighted building list, 23 Lakeview Drive.
Second.
Any discussion?
Would you like me to talk to them?
Oh, please, sorry.
Yeah,
Yes,
sure.
please, discussion.
So under the code of the town of Farmington, buildings blighted, the town council has 75 days from the date of submission to approve, disapprove, or modify the list. The only one that we have on the list right now is 23 Lakeview Drive. This has been on the blighted building list for quite some time. We are still in court cases with the blight building with 23 Lakeview, so we are recommending that it does stay on. We are pleased that there was a few other ones on the list last year, and they have now been removed off the list, so that's good. We've been making progress, and hopefully this is the only one, and it will be removed relatively soon. We're hopeful.
Thank you. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Passes unanimously. Thank you very much.
Item N2, I make a motion to review and approve the capital improvement policy with one amendment to adjust the policy to reflect that it was last amended January 9th, 2018.
Second.
Any discussion?
So the capital improvement policy, the next few items are our financial policies. This is something back since 2005 around that we've had these financial policies. Just for the new people on the council, you would be surprised that how many municipalities really do not have these types of financial policies, and even more so that you have the financial policies and you stick to the financial policies. Our bond agency really likes that. One of the policies coming up is our joint policy with the Board of Ed, which is almost unheard of that we have a joint policy. So we have not made too many amendments to them. Like Patty said, we have been approving them. At this time, the staff is not recommending any change to the capital improvement policy.
Thank you. Any further discussion? All
I have a
in-
question.
Go right ahead.
Yep. Kathy, I think I know I asked you this, but for everyone's
Yeah.
benefit, the 7 has the town maintaining a capital project monitoring committee. Who's on that committee?
I would say the monitoring committee would be myself, our finance director, Joe, and Kat is kind of the monitoring committee. We do have a capital projects team that Russ Arnold is involved in also with the monitoring. And I would say that our new person, Mason, is our capital project, but the true, like I would say, the monitoring committee, as stated, would be the finance director, myself, and the assistant town manager.
Okay, thank you. And you did send me some of this, but I haven't had a chance to look at it all, but during budget, the 10 has a schedule of the fixed assets and the maintenance plan. So if we can
Yeah,
talk about
and
that
so-
more when we get into.
Capital will have that, and we are working on updating our maintenance list for some of our equipment and things like that. We do try to keep it up to speed in the audit. We have all our equipment in like just tons of stuff, but we're going to try to simplify it, and we do have some basic maintenance plans on buildings, on equipment, things of that nature. So we're getting that together for you guys for the capital.
Thank you. Any other discussion? All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Passes unanimously. Thank you.
Agenda item N3, I make a motion to review and approve the attached debt management policy.
Second.
So the debt management policy is something that, again, that we've had in place since 2005. It's something that our bonding agencies really like to see. As you know, or the people that have been on the council before, we take this seriously. Joe does a lot of financial forecasts. We look at that, and especially with some of the debt that we've taken on with the high school and things like that. So we do look at this policy. At this point, the staff isn't recommending any changes to it, but I think it's a very good policy for us to have.
Thank you. Any other discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Passes unanimously. Thank you.
N4, I make a motion to review and approve the attached reserve policy.
Second. Sorry, I was just reading.
This is our reserve policy. Some of us are familiar with it. We sometimes call it the fund balance. That's what this is. And again, we have had this policy in place since 2005. We had some amendments in 8, 10, and 12. So this is our policy that we follow. And at this point, the town staff has not made any recommendations. Unless you want to increase it, which again, our rating agencies, we have 10 to 15%. Our rating agencies, we're close to 20% now that we have, and they still think that is too low. I think if moving from 15 to with a targeted 20% is probably more in line with where we're at and what people are doing right now. So for the Moody's ratings. Again, I think we talked about it at the orientation. I mean, the rating agency, if you had 75%, I still think they wouldn't be happy with it. But I think it's very clear that for AAA Moody's ratings, they absolutely are looking at 20%. That's what we are, that's the minimum that they are looking at.
So just clarifying question, I guess. So if we adopt a policy that suggests our target is 15, like a range of 15 to 20%, you think that would be satisfactory for Moody's?
I think, I mean, the Moody's are going to still always look at it and
For
they're
sure.
going to say, you know, but I think updating our policy will help us with Moody's, saying that we know that 10 to 15 is probably too low, and going from 15 to 20, I think will help us with the Moody's rating.
And if if they look at the actual number and that number is more like 17 or 18%, that's going to really reflect the actual rate, right?
Right.
Yeah, the policy was what we're actually
Yes,
doing.
yeah, exactly.
Did Joe say what the? And I'm sorry, if it was just said, but what's our percent right now, Joe? We're at 17% or 18% now on the reserve. The fund balance. Do you know what the percentage what we're at right now?
And Joe, can you talk at the microphone?
Sorry, Joe.
Depending upon how you measure it, the auditors will come in here in a couple of weeks and they'll tell you that it's at 1%, and I'm going to tell you that it's at 19.5%. So it's really what you're measuring it at. I measured against the fund balance, the unencumbered, uncommitted, unassigned fund balance, based on your current budget. They're going to tell you that based on your fund balance at June 30th, based on your last year budget, it was considerably higher or considerably lower. So right now it's at a little over 19%. And just so you understand where a lot of the rating comes from, they would love to see, and I think I shared the credit report with Patty, they love to see 20%, and they'd love to see more than 20%. And they always rank us against other towns, not Connecticut necessarily, Connecticut towns, other towns in general. And that's somewhat unfair. We've often pointed that out to them. That's not fair, because in a lot of those communities that they're comparing us to, they don't have boards of ed as part of the town, their districts or whatever. So we do include our board of ed budget as part of it. So I think the more telling or the more important criteria is strive for 20%, but also remember that don't go backwards. Okay, you're at 19 now. Don't go backwards. Don't go back to 15. If you stay at 19 for the next 3 years, that's fine, but don't go back to 15. Don't go back to 18. That will get you a downgrade more than anything at this point. The town of Wallingford is for years had a 20 to 25% fund balance, and over a course of 3 years drew it down below 20%, and they lost their AAA rating. And so that's probably where you want to remember as you go through the budget. And we'll talk more about it in a couple of weeks, but that's really what you want to think about.
Thank you, Jim. Are there any other questions?
Does anyone, do we want to change it?
Yeah, we want to amend it.
Motion to amend the motion.
I just want to add that I did go to a training this weekend and talk specifically about this. I asked the question, and as much as they look at what we do have in our fund balance, what they are also looking at is our policy. And they would like to see the policy at 15 to 20% just on paper, because that is a comfort level for them. So I think that would be a good thing.
Can I move to amend the motion to change the language to reflect a policy of the fund balance being maintained between 15 and 20%?
Please. Second.
Second.
Any discussion on the change? All those in favor to the amended motion?
To the
To
amendment
amend-
first.
To the amendment.
Amendment goes first, right?
Aye.
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 Opposed?
Okay, and
And I have one other change that is,
do not now then do the actual motion.
no, you can still talk about the motion, and I have another comment on the motion.
Okay, sorry.
One other comment is, we revised this policy in 2018 as well, so just to change the history.
Yep.
To reflect.
Will do.
You can vote on the motion.
Thank you. All those in favor of the motion?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Passes unanimously. Thank you. Thank you for making those changes. And
And 4. All right. And 5, I move to review and approve the attached employee health self-insurance fund reserve policy.
Second.
So This is what I was talking about earlier. This is our employee health insurance, and we work with this with the Board of Education. This is something that is my understanding, it's still very, very uncommon, even to have a policy, but even more uncommon that you have one jointly with the Board of Education. Something that Kathy Greeter and I are very proud of, that the councils and the Board of Ed were able to come together with this and have this type of policy. We're not recommending at this time any changes to it.
So any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Passes unanimously. Thank you.
Agenda item N6, I make a motion to award a contract in the amount of $271,000 for computer servers, switches, network equipment, and software to Consolidated Computing, Inc. of Easton, Connecticut.
Second.
So the purpose of this contract is to acquire the equipment and software necessary to upgrade the network utilized by the police department in their daily operations. The town set aside funds in the capital budget each year to upgrade the servers, switchers, and software on various networks that the town maintains. The contract award for the equipment, software, and installation would be under a cooperative. These contracts that have been developed by nationwide cooperative purchasing groups after extensive bidding processes. Funds are available in our townwide technology, and the reason why this is in front of the council is because it values over $50,000.
All right, any further discussion?
I have a question. What's the current balance in this account?
Joe, I know the answer, but I didn't write it down in front of me, so I don't want to give the wrong answer. Sorry. I should have brought it with me. I apologize.
So currently, there's a balance of $399,000. With this contract award, we'll bring the balance down to $125,000.
And this is one of our banking accounts during capital, like it gets funded?
It's a combination account. Part of it's for banking for the larger projects such as this one. This is the one we've been saving for several years now. The other part of it is each year there will be item that we will take on that year. So usually the majority of money goes towards these bigger projects, but there will be $40,000 or $50,000 that'll go towards something that we need to do that year. For example, your audio system was part of the 24-25 budget, so we did the audio in 24-25, plus we put money aside for the network switches.
Thank you.
All right.
And then obviously the STEEP grant at 66% reimbursement will take 66% of that. That will be
for the next item.
That'll be for the next. Oh, okay. Sorry.
This is all the money for this item is coming directly from our capital.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, sorry about that.
No, don't worry.
Okay.
Thank you. Are there any other questions? All right, all in favor?
Aye. Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Passes unanimously. Thank you.
N7, I move to award a contract in the amount of $405,000 to Musco Sports Lighting LLC to replace the lighting systems at John Grocky Baseball Field and the Tungus Mead Softball Field, subject to approval from the State of Connecticut, Department of Economic and Community Development, and the State Commission on Human Rights and Opportunities.
Second.
So in the fall of 2025, if most of you may remember, is that we were awarded a very large STEEP grant of $1 million to make various improvements at Tungus Mead Park. One of the improvements included upgrading the lighting at the baseball field and maintaining the softball field. So recreation staff has been working with Musco Sporting to assess the current lighting situation and how to improve it. They have developed plans to replace the existing LED lighting and an automated control system. The cost for improvements would be $247,558 for the baseball field and $157,924 for the softball field. So the contract is under a cooperative again, and just So you know that for the public, since the STEEP grant will provide 66% of the funding for this project, the balance of 137 will be funded through the town's recreation fund, so not the taxpayer group, 1 through 137 through the rec fund. And the contract is also subject to the approval of the State Department of Economic and Community Development and the State Commission of Human Rights and Opportunity.
All right, thank you. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Passes unanimously. Thank you very much.
N8, I move that the fiscal year 2025 capital improvement budget be amended to add $140,000 of the town's local capital improvements, or LoCIP entitlement grant, to the police generator replacement project.
Second.
Kathy?
So the generator, some of you may remember, is at the police facility, has been frequently breaking down since the summer of 2022. During the fall of 2024, it did not work for an extended period, which required the town to rent a backup generator until it could be repaired and put back into operation. The cost of the rental backup generator it was over $25,000, and the manufacturer has indicated, because of the age and the generator, it's very difficult to obtain replacement parts that's ready to be replaced. Since the generator was a crucial component of the town's public safety and emergency management, in April of 2025, we requested the town council approve the use of $220,000 in LoCIP to replace the grant. Since that time, the town has engaged an engineer firm to develop the plans and specifications to obtain bids. Staff recently opened the bids and received a bid of $307,200. This bid, along with the engineering costs that were incurred, have resulted in a shortfall of approximately $140,000. Fortunately, the town has a small remaining balance in LoCIP entitlement grant programs to fund that can be used for this project. However, to use the funds, the town must demonstrate to the State Office of Policy and Management the funds are included in the town's capital improvement plan. Thus, the agenda item is that we're moving it to show it in the capital plan. Approval of this motion would satisfy the capital improvement plan requirement and allow the available grant funds to be used for this project. Staff will be available to answer any questions.
All right, thank you. Any questions? Patty?
Joe, I understand that there's two LoCIP grant programs and that the process changed in 23-24 for how they're funded and how we use the money. Can you explain the different programs and then the amount of funds currently available and are like unencumbered funds available to the town?
Sure. This program's been around, the LoCIP program's been around for over 30 years. And the way the program ran up until a couple of years ago was that you would get an allocation, the state would allocate money to every town based on certain criteria, usually a part of its population. But you didn't just get the money, you had to apply for it, and you had to apply with specific projects. And those projects actually had to be shown in your capital budget. So, and there was also limitations as to what kind of capital projects. For example, you cannot use education, do anything for education. You cannot buy rolling stock, so we couldn't buy dump trucks. Actually, at the very beginning, you could buy dump trucks, but they changed that over the course of the years too. So we've used it for various projects. We paved the parking lot in Town Hall here with money one year. We've been using it for the communications upgrade at the fire department and at the police departments, buying the mobile radios and stuff, thermal imaging cameras. A lot of those projects were used for that. In 23-24, and that over the course of the 30 plus years, the town's gotten about $4.5 million, and we've actually spent about $4.3 million of that money. Currently, there's a balance we have one project I think it was 2 years ago. It was either last year or the year before. The council, in our capital budget, we did identify LoCIP funding as a share of the cost of the Meadow Road sidewalks, which is up in the air. And so we did apply for, and the state did agree to set aside $180,000 of our balance for the Meadow Road sidewalk project. So we have an unencumbered or unobligated balance in there of $214,000 at this time. So if this is approved, we want to use those funds in that that's what we call the entitlement program. The state 2 years ago changed the program, and they made it a true grant program. So they give you your allocation, and then they just send you the money. You don't have to apply for projects or anything like that. But the only way you could spend the money is you have to actually have the project in your capital budget, and you have to identify it as such. It's very similar to what the several of you did on the in December for the Board of Ed for their project. When they came in, they said we need to separate out some funds and identify it specifically in the capital budget. This is kind of this motion is somewhat similar to that type of thing. But again, the allocation program now is you have to show it in your capital budget. You have to and you have to tell them how you're going to spend it, and then you have to follow up with them and give them reports as to how much you've spent each year. You can accumulate the funds, but you have to, every year we have to report in September how much we spent the previous year, what our balance is, and what our future plans are for the money. To be honest, when they changed the program, it took me completely by surprise, as did most towns. We weren't expecting them to change the program the way they did. And also the timing of the payments. The payments are made in June of each year, which is kind of not the beginning of your fiscal year, it's the end of your fiscal year. So what we planned to do at that point was take the money and instead of spending it in the year that we received it, we spend it in the following year. So we received the money in June of 23, June of 24, but we spent it in 24-25. And the projects, we used the first allocation of 224 was your council chambers, 45,000, 100,000 for fire department communications, and another, I forget what the third one was, but we had a third project in there also. So that took up the police department, ironically, the police department security camera system. That was like $70,000. So we used it, we allocated the funds for those projects, our first grant. The second one we weren't going to use because it was going to come in at the end of 25. We were going to apply it to 25, 26, but then the problems came up with the generator at the time. And at that time, we had quotes that 220,000 would be more than adequate to replace the generator. So we came to the council in April of 25 and we said, can we, one, amend the 24-25 capital budget, show the 220 and show it going towards the police generator. And the council at that time approved it. So we had the 220 in the 24-25 capital budget for the generator.
Right.
Almost a year later, we hired an engineer, we went out to bid, and lo and behold, the bid comes in at $307,000. So it comes in over, plus we have to pay the engineer, even though, I don't know. We have to pay the engineer, and we have to pay the, and we have a bid, the low bid. It's a good bid, it's a good company. So we would like to go forward with this project. We'd like to actually get this going. It's been almost a year now. The current generator is still breaking down. A few weeks ago, it blew a lot of oil out. It went dry. We don't know why. And fortunately, they were able to fix it. And we do have oil in it now. It does run. So we'd like to get this going. We figure it's a 180-day project. So even we're probably going to still go through the bulk of this calendar year with the old generator. So that's a short history or a long history of the LoCIP program.
And we still
the
have
25 if you're not seeing anything in the 25-26 allocation right now, the capital budget right now, because the money that's coming in June of this year, would like to use, again, go back to the old practice and put that towards next year's projects.
we have funds then from the so we have the entitlement funds unencumbered.
We have 2 years of entitlement. We have, we have under the entitlement grant, we have 214,000. If you approve this motion, we would have 72,000, approximately 72,000 left over. And then we would have, and then we've received approximately $440,000 over the last 2 years on the pure grant program. We've spent probably 4,500. We've probably spent about 100,000, probably 140 of that total so far.
And then is that where the Meadow Road is encumbered?
The Meadow Road is covered in the older program.
Okay.
Yeah.
Confuse us
Right.
more. Sorry.
That's okay. Any other discussion?
And just to give you an idea, that older program's going away. Once everybody uses their funds, it's going away. The state has actually pointed out to us that we're one of the few remaining towns that has a balance in that old program, and they would love for us to get rid of that. So this is probably a good opportunity to put to go towards getting rid of it.
Excellent.
So a couple things. One, the 180 days, that includes what, like ordering it, getting it on site, and putting it like in place, right? And then is it a plug and play? Is it basically what's there coming just out, and then this thing's just getting dropped in? I don't know.
We haven't really decided what's going to happen to the old one. There were some thoughts about keeping it there and using it as a backup. Then there's some thoughts. Russ has this crazy idea we should put it on a flatbed truck and drive it around town.
Well, no, I'm just saying. I mean, those are all possibilities. I mean, so there is something that, whether you have two there or this thing, the old one goes away or gets on a flatbed, this one's going to be more or less in the same location.
Yeah.
Okay. That's
Yeah.
okay.
And this also includes, and to be fair to the engineers and stuff, this also does include upgrading the transfer switch and stuff, which the original quote did not include. The original quote was a pure generator,
Right.
but everything there is.
Well, I mean, I think it's
everything
also
there is from 2002.
and I think upgrading the transfer switch is probably the
Yeah.
prudent
So
thing.
there's a lot of upgrades taking place.
Excellent. Thanks, Joe. Are there any other questions? All right. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Passes unanimously. Thank you very much.
Agenda item N9. I move to award a contract for the replacement of the generator at the police facility to R&C Electric LLC of Bristol, Connecticut at a purchase price of $307,200 base bid only.
Second.
So you have the note, and I think we've had some discussion. Unless I
No, I think
Got it.
Yeah. All right. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Passes unanimously.
Agenda item N10, I move to amend the appointments to the 1928 Building Committee as follows. The Town Council Liaison, Bill Becker, who we talked about earlier, in an earlier motion, and then adding Joseph Capitafaro as a resident member.
Okay, the 1928 building committee, or is that the?
Yeah. Oh,
isn't
sorry,
the-
sorry, I hit
You-
the wrong name. Yeah, 1928 Building Committee, adding Joe as a resident.
And then I would be.
Yes,
Okay.
as we discussed before.
Okay.
Sorry.
Something like that.
Yep.
I gotta
No,
watch
remember
things
that.
tonight at this meeting. I don't know. I gotta watch things at this meeting.
Nope,
I mean,
read the wrong-
these are my people. These are my people, Keith.
That's what happens when you miss the weekend.
You know what I mean? Holy smoke.
Let me know what you need, Dave.
Any other discussion?
So
We need a second.
that is
Second.
yeah, second.
Down.
Now that I've got it right.
Further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Passes unanimously. Thank you very much.
N11, I move to set the rate of compensation for the town clerk at $93,963.
Second.
As you can see, as the note, the town council position is assigned to pay grade 7 of the administrative pay plan, and that's the starting salary. The town clerk's position historically has been on our administrative pay plan.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Passes unanimously. Thank you very much.
Item N12, I move to schedule a special town council meeting on January 20th, 2026 at 7 p.m. in the Town Hall Pavilion.
Second.
Any discussion?
This
No.
meeting is to talk about discuss the draft strategic plan.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Passes unanimously.
Item N13, I move to schedule a special town council meeting on February 3rd, 2026 at 7 p.m. in the Town Hall Council Chambers.
Second.
So this would be what we talked about a little bit. It's about to introduce the department heads. So again, I think the Green Efforts Committee, it's probably a conflict. So either someone doesn't attend the Green Efforts, or we could move this to a different time, whatever the council prefers.
My preference would be to move this earlier if that's possible.
I mean, as I was thinking about what I was going to say about this one, moving it earlier might accomplish one of those goals. My objection to this motion would be a couple things. One is I love the spirit of it, and I think one of the things that Brian has brought as in his leadership role is he really wants to get everybody on the same page. So, you know, we had the pre-meeting before we got together, had a lot of conversations with people. I think the spirit of that is excellent. I do think that a bare minimum 6 to 7 of us have been long-term public servants of the town of Farmington and know a lot of the people that we would meet at that meeting. It doesn't mean that we couldn't have productive conversations. I also know that at the end of February at the budget meetings, it's kind of when we get a best of the year from these department leaders. You know, I think of like Rose Pani's presentation is always, you know, very interesting about what's going on in economic development. Nancy Parent, we speak with Russ, we have a chance to, the police chief, fire chief, so we really do get to see everybody, and it's only a short time later, and they're already scheduled. And a lot of these people are 9-to-5 employees. So my other objection is I get a little bit queasy about making 9-to-5 employees attend a lot of our meetings. We're volunteering for it, they're working, so having them come in at times when are non-traditional. So I think, I mean, so if we were able to squeeze this in, we all have jobs too, so I know that, but if somehow to squeeze it into working hours, I think might be more productive, and or maybe asking for more robust presentation at budget time, or to allow more time for question and answer at that time to kind of put this on that meeting that we're already having when they come in. And the last one was just understanding the commitment of town council, which I think that we're all comfortable making the commitment to volunteer time. All of us are going to be on boards and commissions coming up. We've seen the budget schedule. You know, we're pretty packed in schedule-wise. So I just want to make sure I understand in conversations that we had at the previous council that we want to make sure that we are meeting and we are here for the town, and that's going to be something I think that this council will probably put an effort into just being here for everything that is on schedule, and I'm perfectly comfortable with that. I just want to make sure that if we're going to come in, particularly on a special meeting, particularly in a busy time of year, and we're pulling out town employees, that it's an essential meeting. That's like something that needs to happen. And I'm not convinced when I read this that it is, but I'm happy to be convinced. And it's, you know, in good faith argument. I'm not trying to like make it a wedge issue or something.
Actually, I was going to say, having here, I have a significant work challenge commitment for that February 3rd meeting. And to Keith's point, that'll be the 4th Tuesday in a row we'll have met. And to your point as well, we are going to see them again in February. And, you know, coming from the Board of Ed, I know Nadine would agree, we have staff that work long hours. Some of them sign up for it, but, you know, these are people that don't sign up for that, you know. So I think Keith makes a pretty valid point that maybe we reconsider the idea of calling a meeting on the 3rd at this point. I mean, we can do it next week if, you know, upon reflection, if we change our mind or whatever. But I think Keith's point is pretty valid. You know, 4 straight Tuesdays in a row, plus other meetings. We've got the FOI meeting and a couple of things. Maybe he's got a point.
Fair enough. Patty, any comments?
I hear Bill and Keith's points. I will, and I guess this is, I guess more of a comment for folks who are new to the council. When I first joined, Nancy Nickerson had a meeting like this where all the department heads came and talked to the council, and I personally found it helpful, which I think is part of where this stemmed from in terms of the suggestion. But.
I mean, I think I'm with Patty too. I definitely appreciate what Keith said and Bill, but I do think for the new people on the council, you know, granted they might even had other roles, you know, on other boards and commissions. I just think that having, you know, a forum where people come in. I mean, maybe we move the time around. You know, I'm fine with that, but I would think that it might be important for just that connection right out of the early part of the early part of the tenure of the council.
My preference would be to have it tagged on to another existing meeting, whether it's extending one of our pre-budget meetings. I am familiar with many of the members already, but not that I want to dismiss the value of it, because FaceTime is always important.
Bruce, any comment?
I understand the points that have been brought up concerning people's time, but as one of the quote unquote new people, I would see a lot of value in that, and I'm completely prepared to be as flexible as possible so that we get that. I really would like to, you know, meet and get to know these folks as best as I could. So anything that does that, I would be in favor of, and we'll bend over backwards time-wise to make it work for everybody.
Well, I can make a point, could we perhaps schedule a meeting for that day, but perhaps scheduling it during the work hours if possible?
That would certainly be a possibility.
You know, I mean, it's going to be, I have to tell you, it'd be very difficult for me to make that meeting. Could do an
Okay.
important commitment. I just want to be upfront about that.
No worries, that's okay. I just wanted to add that, no, I absolutely consider what you're talking about, Keith, because you're right, we're doing an awful lot. I did speak to a couple of folks who would welcome the opportunity to speak about what they do without having to talk about budget. And I'm not saying it's good or bad, because we can tack it on to the budget conversation, but again, that just makes it a longer night that night. So, not that we have to separate it, but it would be nice to hear, if they're willing, to talk just about what they do, not what they need to do for their particular budget that particular year. So that's why it was considered.
I think, like I said, I think the spirit of it, and I think the idea behind it, I think is well founded. I don't, I'm not quibbling with that.
And I'm happy to do either.
Yeah. So I don't know. I mean, maybe I think if the time was to move, or the date was to move, or something was to move, I don't know how we go about that. I don't know if it's the type of thing. Patty,
Technically an amendment if we were, but I wanted to make a.
but I don't know if that's something that we're able to even do at the dais, or if that's
Right.
something that we should do at another time, or
I'll find-
or if you want to schedule it, and whoever can make it too. If it's
Well, one thought I had, and this is me thinking right now, so I haven't thought it out fully, but we do have the meetings now scheduled for the 20th. We scheduled the one for I don't know which ones we've already scheduled.
we have
All right, the
27th
20th,
scheduled,
Yep.
27th,
It's our normal.
and then a regular town meeting on the 10th. Is this something, Kathy, where we could break up the departments and have like 2 people come, or I don't know.
I think my preference would be if we really are just kind of having an introduction and just meeting some people and having some general conversation. I think we could do it at like the manager's report in February. Have like, have them come in the February meeting, and maybe at the beginning, either a presentation or during my manager's report. Our meetings, again, that February meeting, I get nervous with the strategic plan and the capital budget. There's a lot going on, and the agenda, not that it's going to be, I don't see it being that complicated. And so maybe some of the time that we take an extra hour at that meeting and do it at the February meeting and have people come, maybe do it at the beginning of the meeting as like a presentation or something like that. Maybe we could do that, have people see who can come, and again, not go over during the budget, even though I may be holding them back to but try to have them come and just give kind of an overview of what they do. We have had some changes between the police departments now merged with the fire and some of that. I think it would be helpful. We could do that.
Okay.
Would that work?
I would be happy to do that. It's not about making lots of meetings, but it's making sure that everyone's certain that we have the information, that we educate folks who may not know all the details of what all the departments do. I was told to be on the same page.
That's great.
That works.
That's great.
We can't leave the motion hanging though, so
No.
we still have to call for a vote on it.
So deny the motion.
Yes, everyone can vote no on it, but you
That's
can't
right.
say
Be unanimous.
So if we negate this, then we can.
Readjust it.
Okay.
So all those in favor? All those opposed?
Opposed?
nay.
Opposed? Nay.
Okay.
Okay, the motion does not pass. We will reconvene.
I don't think we have to, because I think it's just going to be on the
Just gonna be part of the agenda.
February. Yeah, I'll make a note for the February agenda.
Does not pass unanimously.
One less
Right,
meeting.
That's good.
Yes.
Here we go.
We got a pitch and a shutout, which is good. Yeah.
All right, moving on. N14.
Thank you. I move to approve the property tax refunds listed on this item.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Passes unanimously. All right. Oh, no executive session, correct?
That's right.
I have a motion for adjournment.
I move to adjourn the January 13th, 2026 Town Council meeting.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you.
Brian, you got.
Well done.
There we go.
Nice job. Nice job.
Okay.
Nice job.
Keep it up.
Thank you.
Nice job.